she stumbles through the fields. She can't see, though she tries. Should've worn her penance. Now she stumbles. Now she cries. Her skin's red and it burns, and the fields go on for miles. Life sucks you dry. She wonders why. Wonders why.
hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
So the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake, all that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbour. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about him. East 71st Street. He was your neighbour for 10 years. How well did you know him?
All right, so we are in number 11, and he lives in number 9.
Right.
So we renovate, we buy our house, and our house is pigeons and mice.
Right.
Okay, that's it. It was derelict.
Right.
So we rebuild our house. We move in 2005. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 08, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. So my wife and I go next door. We walk the 7 steps,
Yes.
right, to the next house for coffee. We share a wall.
Right.
So it's in New York City. So he invites us in. We have coffee in this, and he says, do you want a tour? We said, great. He's
Interesting.
got a really big house.
Every room you went into?
He's got, well, I'll tell you. So his house is like super big, really wide. And so he gives me a tour in the living room, big living room. And then across from it is double doors. I assume it's the dining room.
Yeah.
And he opens the door, and there's a massage table in the middle of the room.
Ooh.
And candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was never in the room with him socially. for business or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross. And so I look back at it as a gift.
Yes.
He gave me a gift
Yes.
of avoid. And so, yeah,
So
that's my story. A one and absolutely done.
Why did the Epstein files show you coordinating a meeting and planning a visit with Jeffrey Epstein on his private island in December 2012?
Thank you for the question. I'm glad to be here to make it clear that I met Jeffrey Epstein when I moved to a house next door to him in New York. Right? And I met him then. Over the next 14 years, I met him 2 other times that I can recall. 2 times. And that is none for 6 years. So 6 years later, I met him. And then a year and a half after that, I met him and never again. Probably the total, and you've seen all of these documents, of these millions and millions of documents, there may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period. I did not have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person. Okay?
Secretary Lutnick, I think you understand the root of concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you in fact make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it, but
Mr. Secretary, again, as I said, there's not an indication that you yourself engaged in any wrongdoing with Jeffrey Epstein. It's the fact that you believe that you misled the country and the Congress based on your earlier statements, suggesting that you cut off all contact when in fact you had not. When you visited the private island, did you see anything inappropriate during that visit?
The only thing I saw with my wife and my children and the other couple and their children was staff who worked for Mr. Epstein on that island.
And you realize that, this visit took place after he'd been convicted, right? I mean, you made a very big point of saying that you sensed that this was a bad person in 2005. And then, of course, in 2008, he was convicted of soliciting prostitution of a minor. And yet you went and had this trip and other interactions. Did you have a dinner in Epstein's New York City home in 2011?
No.
So the information that suggests that there was a dinner with Woody Allen and Woody Allen's spouse at the Epstein residence, that's there's nothing to that. Is that right?
I actually don't know what you're referring to. There was, look, I looked through the millions of documents for my name, just like everybody else. And what I found was there was a document that says that I had a meeting with him in May, I think, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Not dinner or otherwise, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
All right. There's also a reference to the fact that Epstein had expressed an interest in meeting your nanny. Do you know whether Jeffrey Epstein ever met with your nanny?
No, I saw that. I had no idea what that was about. It had nothing to do with me.
No
as far as
interaction
I
at
know.
all between them.
No. as far as I know now.
Would you, Mr. Secretary, be willing to ensure that the file is complete to share with this committee and the Congress your own records, any records you have that relate to Jeffrey Epstein?
I will surely talk about that. I hadn't thought about that. I have nothing to hide. Absolutely nothing.
Right. So, I mean, that's an incredible story that you could pick up that he was a pervert.
It's gross. The guy's gross.
Right.
Right with my wife. And like, he's gross. The guy's gross. This was not, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick. This guy's gross.
Right. So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
No, they participated.
right.
That's what his MO was, get a massage, And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever. Blackmailed people. That's how he had money.
So what happened to those videos? Why is there now such a dearth of information when, Donald Trump's people are running the FBI and the DOJ?
I assume way back when,
Mm-hmm.
they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence, which allowed him to have visits and be out of jail. I mean, he's a serial sex offender. How could he get 18 months and be able to go to his office during the day and have visitors and stuff? It must have been a trade. So my assumption, I have no knowledge, but my assumption is there was a trade for the videos because there were people on those videos.
And have you talked to Donald Trump about this and shared your theory?
No, I mean, he knows the story.
Right.
My story that, I was one and done with the guy. He knows that story, but... That's it.
He would have been interested in that story.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a story. It's just a one and done. That guy. Ugh.
And did Trump feel the same way about him?
I don't speak to him about these these are just distractions.
Right.
The thing about the president is I'm doing the most important thing that I see. And then right after we do that, he does 10 other things that are as, if not more important, that are not my thing.
Right.
And you're like, wow. And he is great at it. And sometimes he lets me stay. So he lets me stay for the Joint Chiefs of Staff come in.
Right.
I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. All they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order. Secretary Lutnick today was testifying on the Hill. He said that he had visited Epstein's Island in 2012 with his wife and children, and that's after he said that he had cut ties with Epstein. And Justice Department documents show that he was in contact with Epstein through 2018 over messages. So does the White House stand behind Secretary Lutnick right now, or given what he has said today, has there been any shift in how the White House is viewing Secretary Lutnick's performance?
No, Secretary Lutnick remains a very important member of President Trump's team, and the president fully supports the secretary.
All right, I've had a little bit of a rough day today, so I mean, not that bad, but it's just now my camera's like not perfect. All right, oh Jesus Christ! All right, that's not ideal, but that's gonna have to do. Maybe that's better. All right, that's better. Anyway, welcome to Through a Glass Darkly Live. You're watching us on YouTube. And the intro song was Mark of the Doomslayer by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Okay. All right, I just got, I think, 2 comments to go through, but we'll get to the main deal, but I have a few announcements to make. Some good and some bad and minor, and some, well, one is pretty major. So let me just get, now there's 4 comments. So where are we? I've lost my place. Totally lost my place. There's 4. I gotta go backward. Okay. All right. So Overlander BC, I agree with Al. Many of these people are something more akin to wolf and, yeah, absolutely, wolf in sheep's clothing. Seriously, expat. She melted my brain a couple of days ago. She's highly intelligent and has the information, or has the ability to convey information to a monkey like me. Hey, Logan, good to see you, man. How's the weight loss going? I just started eating only protein recently, so I'm down 6 pounds by just doing that in 5 days. So, okay, the moment of eye contact, nice freeze at the very end. Okay. On the other hand of joining, hello. What's it? Micah. I'm retarded today. Hey, good to see you on side. Good for you. Have you eaten yet though? Like, when you first eat again, just be very careful because your body's not going to be used to it. Okay, good. You broke your fast last night. 40 pounds is pretty good. I'm not completely going, but I might need to. I have 3 weeks to lose a lot, and I'll tell you why soon. Okay, Micah. Thank you, Micah. I will call you Micah. Hey, Harry Zaney, 13. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being a member. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining. 63 down. Damn, everybody's losing weight. That's fantastic. Yeah, I actually have a very specific reason that I need to lose fast. I probably won't go scorched earth until maybe next week. So at US, I gained a lot of weight. Unfortunately, from December, I was down to 171 pounds and went my heaviest. If your heaviest is 189, you're okay. I'm not going to say what I am. Okay. So one thing, my day started off pretty well, and then it went really sour. I'm using a program called Audiate for Camtasia, and it is a fucking piece of shit. I spent to edit like audio of like 50 minutes, it probably takes me 2.5 hours, right? And I got through about 42 minutes of 50 minutes, and then Audiate completely crashed. I lost everything. So then I restarted, got to about 35 minutes, and then it did it again. So fuck Audiate. I'm gonna have to break up the thing into little tiny pieces because Audiate is a piece of shit software and it constantly fails. And like my most important resource is time, and it keeps shitting all over my time. Like every episode I produce takes about 12 hours to edit. 8 hours of that, well, maybe not 12 hours. 12 hours to produce, right? So you have like an hour of recording. No, I mean, that's not entirely true. I'd say maybe 8 hours. And, an hour to produce, and then 5 of those hours is just doing the audio, and because it fails constantly. And then the rest is just everything else. So I don't appreciate when I lose like 2 hours here, 2 hours there. Not fun. And anyway, let's see. Are you staying true to no more Mr. Nice Guy? Count your calories and it will come off at that rate. Not for me. I can count calories all I want. With carbs, it doesn't work. Like, I have to cut carbs completely out of my diet, and then the weight just rolls off. Yeah, I literally for me, 1 Dunkin' coffee a day, and I like Balloon, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. So, what about using DaVinci Resolve? I don't know it too well. That's the problem. So Overland BC is like, I've been fasting for 2 weeks. So I'm like beef and vegetables, coffee and lemon water, and specific supplements, attempting to purge calcium overload. Yeah. I've been like doing meat, and like I just have 1 coffee, and it's really bitter. It's pretty nasty with like no sugar in it, just to have the caffeine. I am and I was starting to drink water, but I made 1 allowance. I got like a bottle of Coke Zero today just because I had I'm really pissed because of that fucking thing. So, and I need the caffeine, but I'll just, as soon as I consume that bottle, it's back to water. But anyway, okay, so that's the bad news, which is it's not really bad news to you. It's just annoying. It just means I won't sleep tonight because I have to redo the thing. This is about me. Okay. I still can't believe this is happening because I don't. What was I going to say? I wasn't expecting this. This is kind of weird, but it's really good. And it's real. And it's real because I have a plane ticket and a hotel room. So I am going to be a guest on the Julian Dury podcast. So if you all don't know what that is, check it out. I'm just going to wait for reactions because he said to you, like, we want to have you on. I'm like, why? What do you want to talk to me for? And he's just kind of laughed, but it's crazy stuff. Hopefully it drives traffic to the channel, Oh, the date, I fly out on the 6th of May, and then I do the interview on the 7th. I don't know when it'll actually appear, and who knows? Who knows how it'll go? So, yeah, it's not a TV show. It's a YouTube channel, but it's like a YouTube channel. You should try homelessness. I have a friend who just lost 30 pounds by spending a month on the Appalachian Trail, just walking. If you can do that, good morning, Sirius. If you can do that, you'll lose weight too. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Oh, and by the way, I found out, like, just doing some cursory research, Julian Dury went to high school in Delaware, and I know the high school that he went to, and it's the same high school that Biden went to. So you can well check that. And it's even funnier. He went to grade school at a school that is literally across the street from the Arden Guildhall, which Metzger always talks about, like at the Arden, like. So I can't believe he didn't talk about that, and Dury didn't mention that during their like interview. So it's going to come out. It's coming out for sure. It is coming out for sure. Thank you, Timepiece Adventures. I appreciate that. Thank you, Stone Hobbit. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's definitely a good dude. Yeah, thank you, Micah. Yeah, I mean, they're like, well, the thing is, I've known Danny Jones for a while. I have to do well though. Like I could get on there and just like freeze like a deer in headlights, but I won't. I'll be fine. Yeah, he's got like 1.24, but still over 1 million. Yeah, Julian is fabulous, and he likes Lutnick about as much as I do too. Yeah, it'll be good. SEC Dell aware. Guildhall. What do I plan to talk about when you go there? So I asked him, what do you want me to prepare for? He's like, oh, we'll just talk. So there might be some stuff about my background. We'll probably talk about remote viewing, and we'll definitely talk about the Iran thing because he knows I did my master's thesis on this thing. So the Iran problem will definitely be there. And if I do well, I mean, look, the show has to have a lot of views, and I am not a well-known person. So if it gets good views, then yeah, the Danny Jones thing might be possible. But I mean, those two are neck and neck in number of subscribers, and they talk to each other, right? So anyway, it's crazy. Thank you, Salty. No, it's just me. It's just me. But you know, if Kerp shows up, that would be great. Yeah, exactly. I figured it was a typo. Okay, so yeah, he definitely retains a lot of information. Thank you, Onside. What was I going to say? Yeah, we might talk e-files too, maybe. No, I never forget the people who helped me on the way. Never. And it was smoke a chip. No, I'm too old for that shit, man. I'm too old for that. Yeah. I mean, he's from the same part of the country. Like he went to school, you know, a few miles from where I went to school. So, oh, does he have a? I would drink some claws, some White Claws, which I don't drink, but I would drink some mango White Claws because I never had them. I'd try it. Oh, come on, man. He's like the most Jersey of Jersey. It's a Jersey. He's a Jersey boy, man. Grew up in Mullica Hill, the original Mullica Hill MC. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'd rather do the I'm going to speak in code, the Delta Mike Tango with Metzger. I think that would be a real experience. Yeah, I rarely drink too. I rarely drink. Yeah, I know. I got to be a good example to the children's. They're good. You should watch them. They're good. And he has really good guests. He has like John Kiriakou. He's on there all the time. That kind of thing. No, I've never done anything. I am clean as a whistle. Pure as the driven snow. So, all right. We probably should. Anyway, I wanted to put that out there. By the way, I also have a ton of interviews lined up because I want to try to get May done soon. So I just interviewed Hakeem Isler today, who runs the side games. And man, oh my God, that guy is interesting as hell. He's so interesting. he'll just throw things out there and move on, and like I have to interrupt him. I'm like, whoa, you can't go any further without me getting into that. So, man, that was I have two interesting. Oh boy, I gotta thank you, Unkside, for saying this. How do I talk about this? So, as you know, so Unkside is saying, what do you think about those missing dead scientists? So as you know, I'm not going to say the name of the group because I don't know if I can say this. So it's a group that does remote viewing targets of various things. We did a remote viewing target of McCaslin and all that stuff. And we got a directive that said, we've reached the red line. No more remote viewing of missing generals or scientists. So it could just be, like part of what the people who run that program, part of what their mandate is to protect remote viewers. So the implication is that either it was going to put us in a place where it was a little dangerous, or somebody told them, no more, stop. I don't know which it was. It could just be out of an abundance of caution. I don't know. But it's getting weird. It's definitely getting weird. So take that what you will, and do what you need to do. Yeah, it's getting weird. Oh, by the way, as part of that, someone who has knowledge of these things, apparently all 9 nuclear countries keep tabs on all nuclear scientists globally, whether they're currently working in the field or they're retired. They keep tabs on them constantly. So, let's see. Yeah, Sally, if I had to do 2 episodes, I just told her, like, I don't know, Sumerian demonology. That was the thing I threw out there. But if you had 2 episodes, what would the 2 topics of those episodes be for like an hour each? What would the 2 episodes be? Like, I'd be willing to look at the Talmud thing, but it's negotiable. So just if you have better ideas from what I have, let me know. Yeah, the Vatican's is, yeah. I need to get into that official thing. Yeah, it's weird. I live in MIA or DIA now. So Overland BC is saying it's because there's about 3 to 4 alien species involved with the missing scientists, and they literally pull the strings on big stuff globally. Well, it's not, it may be censoring, but it could also be protective, right? So sometimes people will ask the team to remote view things that if they gain knowledge, if the remote viewers gain knowledge of those things, then they become targets, right? And they could be pat priced, right? Or they just die of a mysterious heart attack and things like that. So part of the role of the people who run that program is to make sure that the remote viewers are safe. They don't remote view anything that could put them in jeopardy. So, I haven't. Sorry, Solite USX, but I've been so busy, like I haven't even had time to breathe. Okay, so 2 topics: religion is a farce, and you are a fractal of the Most High experiencing self. Are they saying to stop publishing RV? Yes, they are. It's either for safety reasons or because I'm speculating. I don't know what the reasons are. It's just that we've reached a red line. That's it. That's all. So stop remote view, like stop kind of remote viewing that stuff. Okay, so Salty is saying Talmud has its roots, but it's all typed together, so you will end up in Babylon. Huh. Why be a pirate if you're afraid to pirate? Well, I have a theory on that, but I don't want to put it out publicly. Well, actually, I did. I did in the interview I just did, but I'm not going to say it again. Just remember in May when you watch Isler, if I say anything like that. Yeah, problem is that. Yep. Yeah, could be. Well, again, it's these people are paid to do it, right? And then they're putting it out publicly. So it's just they're just saying don't remote view it as part of what the organization puts out, which is totally legit, right? The organization pays the viewers money, and if the organization gets to decide what to and not to remote view, totally legitimate. It's not like YouTube preventing you from doing something. It's just like a business saying we don't want to go in that direction, which is totally fine. Yeah, could be. Could be. Okay. Yeah. If I don't, the problem is I don't have time. I literally have like 3 interviews before her interview tomorrow. So it's just like back to back to back. And I have to read a book for one of the interviews tomorrow, like before tomorrow, after I re-edit the episode that I edited 2 times already that kept getting destroyed. Okay. Okay. All right. One more thing, and this is, don't take this too crazily, but I've been having for the last 3 nights this dream about some military mobilization, and the number 90 keeps coming up. 90 days, something like that. You know, it could just be nonsense, but just remember that. If it repeats, today's date is April 18th, 2026. So if in May, June, July, if in July we're like mobilizing for something, where there's some mobilization order, the U.S. military, who knows? Let's see. I'm just trying to. Yep, everybody, Micah's trying to unravel stuff. Bigfoot is the best subject. Yeah, but it doesn't perform. A lot of those things never break 1,000 views. I enjoy doing them, but man, it's rough. WEF UN unification agenda. Interesting. I will take it. You saw a dog man when? Micah, where are you based? Like, are you in the US or UK or something, or Australia? Yeah, we are definitely full swing crazy. I also, well, the second announcement too is I might be going to the Psy Games. I just need the ticket. As soon as I get the ticket, I'll make my plans. So I might be going to the Psy Games. I'm not going to say certain. Like with Julian Dory, I can make the announcement because I literally have a plane ticket and I have a hotel room. So that's definitely happening. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Now that all that is out of the way, let's get started. I don't know if I have like a full 2 hours, so yeah, they were really good. They were definitely really good. Okay. All right, let me get started. Or did I just miss a comment? I just missed a comment. Sorry, I'm trying to like start. Oh man. So Nick Putnam said there was an astrologer, I think it was Cam White, who said that a major war would start in July of this year. He said it in December. Yeah, last 3 nights, I don't remember the dreams. It's just like mobilization 90, 90, 90. Okay. All right, let me get started. Good God. There's people who are coming here just because of the thumbnail, and they're like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. Like, what are you talking about? What's all this nonsense you're talking about? We came here for this Vatican thing. So let me get to the Vatican thing. I'm going to ignore comments for a little bit now because I want to just get this started. This is semi-prepared from AI, but it's like bullets, so I'm going to be ad-libbing for most of it. Some of it's prepared. Okay. So this is not really a story about like the Exorcist horror movie possession sort of thing, but it is a story about what happens when a civilization loses religious structure but remains spiritually hungry. Okay? When people lose trust in institutions, but they still have that yearning. Now, the Vatican is not saying modernity killed the supernatural. It's acting as if modernity may have made people more vulnerable to counterfeit spiritualities. Okay, so the thesis lines up with official church teachings in two directions at once. The church affirms exorcism as real and tightly regulated, but it also insists on prudence, medical discernment, and resistance to superstition and magical thinking, right? So, a few weeks ago, the Pope met with the world's leading exorcists. Their warning was stark. Occult practices are spreading, spiritual distress is increasing, and the church needs trained exorcists in every diocese. Whether you believe that literally, symbolically, or somewhere in between, this is an extraordinary sign of the times, because it means one of the oldest institutions on earth thinks modern man is not becoming less spiritual. He may be becoming spiritually disordered. Okay, so few key questions, 3 specifically. Why is the Vatican speaking more openly about exorcism now? Second question, what does the church actually teach as opposed to kind of this movie mythology we see in The Exorcist? And then 3, why do occult systems come roaring back in hypermodern societies? Okay, so this is kind of grounded by a March 2026 meeting and the church's exorcist's request for structural reform. So let's start with what actually happened in March. So on March 13th, there was a private audience at the Apostolic Palace in Rome. AIE leadership met. I don't even know what AIE is, actually. It would be nice if, well, we can figure it out later. The leadership met with Pope Leo XIV, and there was a request for one or more trained exorcists in every diocese. There's concern about occult sex, esotericism, Satanism, and spiritual distress. And there's a proposed formation for seminarians, bishops, and designated priests. Okay, so the headline is Exorcists. The real story is institutionalization. They are trying to move this from fringe ministry to normal pastoral capacity. Now just think about that. They tried to kind of keep this stuff hidden, rare, etc. And now they want to mainline it, send exorcists to literally every parish on earth. And that's exactly what the exorcists were asking for. Not random demonic talk, but a better diocesan system. Okay, so if you're Catholic, okay, and this is not a Catholic podcast, this is just Catholics have a very as a Catholic, they have a very ritualistic system. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into that. The Catechism says exorcism is when the church publicly and authoritatively asks in Christ's name that a person or object be protected from the devil, the evil one. A major exorcism can be performed only by a priest and with the permission of the bishop. It also says that psychological illness is a different matter and belongs to medical science. So the church must first determine whether it is dealing with illness rather than the presence of the evil one. Okay? According to the Vatican. Now, the church is not teaching see a demon behind every problem. It is teaching hierarchy, permission, rules, and discernment. Now, in the catechism, there's a teaching that superstition, divination, magic, medium, astrologies, omens, and similar practices are rejected because they just express a desire for power over time, history, and hidden powers. And that's true, even though the Vatican sometimes engages in some of this stuff. I mean, if you look at the Mass, it is exactly what you would see in a classic magical ritual. Now, symbolically, you're drinking the body and blood of Christ. There's transubstantiation involved, all that stuff. It's very similar, in some ways, to other magic practices. So it's very heavily in ritual. Now, the church's warning is not superstition, but anti-superstition. A lot of viewers will assume exorcism equals irrationality, but official church sources cut the other way. The Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith said the church condemns superstition and magic, refuses to let people blame everything on the devil, and requires critical assessment of the facts, reserve, prudence, and room for research. So Catholic demonology, at least on paper, is not a permission slip for hysteria. It is a warning against hysteria from both sides. The side that sees devils everywhere and the side that thinks everything spiritual is reducible to chemistry. Okay, now let's move from the kind of exorcism piece to civilization. By the way, this is not going to be that long. I'm racing through this, and there's not a lot here. So a Vatican document on the New Age, says that the phenomenon is, this is important, the phenomenon is a broad syncretic current spread rapidly by mass media and distinguishes between esotericism as a search for knowledge and the occult as a means of obtaining power. It says that at the center of occultism is a will to power based on the dream of becoming divine. So the church's deepest objection to the occult is not merely that it is spooky, it is that it attempts to seize power spiritually rather than receive grace relationally. So this is more a sophisticated theme than the occult is bad. The other odd thing that I think is they're making a distinction between esotericism and the occult. So I'm not sure if we're to assume that esotericism is okay as long as there's not this will to power. This is more of a search for knowledge. But if true, that's at least a good sign to me. Because you clearly don't want people engaging in dark magical practices where they're harming other people, right? That should be the red line that you never cross, right? You never do something to someone without their permission. So, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so while it's true that secularism weakens formal religion, that's sure, but it doesn't eliminate spiritual appetite, right? You saw it with the pandemic, right? Like people religiously, you're not wearing a mask, oh my God, you're not wearing a mask, oh my God. Like it had a religious fervor akin to some of the more devout forms of Islam. It just kind of mindless obedience to the belief system without any reason or absent reason. So there's definitely a spiritual appetite out there. At the same time, people still want protection, but they also want hidden knowledge, agency, enchantment, and meaning, right? So I grew up as a Catholic and never, ever had what I would say were spiritual experiences, not once. It was more torture than anything else. Sit, stand, kneel, sit, stand, kneel, sit, stand, kneel, sit, stand, kneel. And the Mass kind of lost some of the magic that it had for my father's generation, his silent generation, where the Mass was in Latin. The Mass was in Latin up until the early 1960s with Vatican II. And, I probably would have kept going to Mass for longer because it would have been interesting, right? And there would have been a little bit more knowledge and kind of weight to it. Now, here's the problem, though. Once a sacramental framework collapses, people often rebuild one piecemeal through tarot, mediumship, astrology, ritual manifestation, spiritual communication, and personalized metaphysics. I personally prefer personalized metaphysics. It seems to work best for me because only then did I begin to have experiences in any way, shape, or form. And maybe because I'm noticing. Now, I still root it in my Catholicism. Like, if I ask for something, I will pray to God, right? I won't invoke anything else that I don't understand. And, it's been rewarding. Like, I get closer to animals. I have precognitive dreams. That sort of stuff. Not a lot, but a little. So the central foundation is modern people do not stop being religious, but they often become religious without doctrine, priesthood, or guardrails. So, and this is part of the problem with the Protestant Reformation, right? The priest was kind of the interceded between the masses or the laity and the church, and the Protestants broke with that. And in talking to Dean Radin, like, one of the things that we talked about, and I don't know if we recorded this or if it was offline, what he told me is that empirically, spells have exactly the same effect as prayers. There's no distinction at all from an empirical standpoint. They work, not always, but they have an effect on the material world, and they work in the same way. They're indistinguishable. If you just looked at the data, it would be a toss-up between whether or not the effect of what you're measuring was caused by a spell from some esoteric system or occult system, or just a standard prayer. And you kind of start to notice things like that in your personal life. So we'll just keep going. So occult revivals or religious revivals, but they typically emerge when institutions lose legitimacy. Technology accelerates alienization. People feel powerless. Religion is treated as optional, but transcendence remains desired. And forbidden knowledge becomes attractive because it feels empowering. And it becomes more attractive, too, because when you can't trust any of your institutions, you got to figure things out on your own. And I fit into this basket. I absolutely fit into this basket, right? I didn't feel anything outside of the material realm until I started this channel. Before that, I had no mystical experiences, nothing at all. The closest might have been when I had, when I was sleep deprived during 5 days of training I had when I was in the Army for Scout Platoon Leaders course, where we got no more than 2 hours of sleep a night. And, on night 4, you start to hallucinate. You start to see things. And, when I was in a Humvee, I looked to my left and there was Lucky the Leprechaun from Lucky Charms. So when it was happening, I was just like, yeah, that's not real. That's a hallucination. But, I would say that was the kind of one of the strangest things. Or when I rolled my Humvee when I was a young officer and pancaked it, right? Time's definitely slowed down, right? I had plenty of time. I could have done calculus problems. Just everything went into slow motion. That's a little weird. But again, nothing really out of the ordinary until I started this channel. And then, man, did things open up. Not as crazy as other people, but it's definitely different. Again, if you read that Substack from last week, there's been developments. We think the thing started, like, subtly came back. And so we tried again tonight or last night, and whatever I did, it's angry again, because it never got angry with my friend, right? It would laugh and mock him, but it's pissed off. So again, neither of us know what the hell we're doing, but we're going to have to do that experiment again tonight. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. If you didn't read the Substack, you won't know what I'm talking about. Just read the latest Substack when you get a chance. Okay. All right. So a useful formulation is this: is that the cult often returns when people no longer trust inherited authority, but still crave contact with the invisible. So it's just, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. So moving forward, what's a counter argument to all this? Like, isn't it all just psychology? So let's just go through that. So many alleged possession cases are likely psychological, neurological, traumatic, or socially mediated. Yeah, probably. Probably most, actually. Right? But the Catholic Church does that. And even the Church itself says illness must be distinguished from demonic influence. It's a requirement. And that's why discernment matters. The real issue is not whether every case is supernatural, but whether a purely reductive framework explains every kind of spiritual distress people report. So the Catechism of the Catholic Church explicitly separates medical illnesses from exorcism. And there's the doctrinal document the Vatican puts out explicitly leaves room for research and critical assessment. Okay. So we're getting near the end. Okay. So, questions for you all. Why do you think the occult flourishes in an age that claims not to believe in metaphysics? Is exorcism a relic of the past or a sign that modernity misunderstood the human person? Is the real danger possession or just spiritual confusion? Or maybe just instability caused by decaying institutions? Are people seeking demons or simply power, meaning, and contact with the unseen? And does a post-Christian society inevitably generate substitute religions? Maybe. I think Lou Elizondo said that we saw two religions that formed in the last 200 years based on the phenomenon. I think one was the Church of Latter-day Saints and the second was Scientology. Maybe. Who knows? Now, whether you believe in literal demonic possession or not, the Vatican is telling us something profound. Modernity did not abolish the hunger for the invisible. It may only have stripped away the disciplines that once governed it. So the point here is not look how crazy this is. It is, why are serious Catholic institutions talking this way now? And what does that reveal about the modern spiritual condition? So that was supposed to last me 2 hours, and it lasted me about 15 minutes. So, oh my God. Are there really 105? It's like 109 comments, people. What the hell happened? Now I gotta find where the hell I left off. It's gonna be a lot of comment reading tonight. All right, here we go. All right, so Mike is saying some people were saying not to seek those creatures because they can be so dangerous. I've had some very weird experiences. I'm not going to mess with that foolishness. Okay. Yeah, who knows what Bigfoot is? Remember China. Remember the Alamo? Never-ending search for Bigfoot. Not, is it today? Is today Paul Revere's ride? I don't know. Yeah, Nathaniel is awesome. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Bees are swarming Israel. 18 April 1775. Yeah, Nathaniel's a good one. Somebody called Nathaniel J. Roll. Okay, because tiny something preforming more mass ritual. Yeah, through pew pew. Correct. Yeah, women love Nathaniel. That's definitely for sure. All right, could matter vibrate at other frequencies like light does and be else? I think that might be part of it, and it might be the way time is represented too. Time is simultaneous and it's just vibrating at slightly different frequencies that we don't intercept. All right, forgive me for going through these so fast, but like when I went to check, I had like 109 to go through. So, yeah, we're locked into a bandwidth. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. Drone? No, there were literal bees in Israel, like swarms of bees, making it like impossible for the IDF Air Force to like take off. Yeah, something is messed. That's for sure. Oh, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, the IAE is the International Association of Exorcists. Yeah, for sure. All right. So Roger Claiborne saying reality might be three-phase, vibrating between neutral to positive and negative at a fast frequency. If so, then there could be three different realities in the same space but at different frequencies. It could be more than three. It could be an infinite number. The crow loosening the flag of... Oh. All right, so Under Fire saying, I don't trust the Vatican for a moment. They're in some deep, dark stuff and big supporters of this satanic globalist plots and agendas. Wow, that's pretty amazing, Grail. You had a real hit of 25K. Isbaal, yeah, Isbaal, basically. Let's see. Dude, yours was always cool, Gray. Love the video of you ripping into the Jedi. Shaitan are many. There's no one. Satan never has been. There may have been a head, but they can change at times. Evil fights among themselves. Yeah, religion's definitely corrupted. Okay, so Mike is saying, I think the interesting thing is that the Creator knows your intentions. I don't think Jesus is going to throw you into the pit just because you pronounced his name wrong. Yeah. So Under Fire saying the Elohim are one of the many entities and races that have come down and screwed with Earth here. Much of the OT, Old Testament Torah, has nothing to do with the Father of Jesus. Nick D is saying the Vatican is demonic. And it ain't Satan that runs them all. Anyone knows who runs all the demons? I have no idea. Under Fire says, seek the truth. Don't blindly follow any version of the Bible. Seek the truth from the Spirit of truth from Jesus and his Father, not this Yahweh entity that is certainly not his Father. Yeah, what kind of God demands human sacrifice, right? Or at least ritual sacrifice, like the slaughtering of animals. Yeah, it is ritualistic. Huh. Oh, the demiurge. I see. Yeah, it's Gnosticism. Okay. Yeah, feed your fish. Don't let your fish die on side. Yeah, I just try to treat your neighbors as you treat yourself, or as you would have yourself be treated. Okay. There's a lot of people showing up for a topic that I wouldn't expect a lot of people to show up for. Let me just check something. This is weird. I mean, I already covered what I'm going to cover. Basically, the bottom line is that the church or the exorcists are asking that there be an exorcist in every diocese, which is crazy. The question you have to ask yourself is why? Why is that top of mind among the exorcists? I mean, is stuff just getting so crazy that it's now something that has to be done? Good Lord, this thing is, yeah, this topic is resonating for whatever reason. Timmy! I don't know why I say Timmy, but yep, exactly. Okay. All right, man, ain't even 60 seconds in a minute no more. Okay. I'd rather be pissed off than pissed on. Oh, somebody angry at me? I mean, not that. I'm just curious to know why. Maybe I deserve it. I don't know. Hey, David Todd, good to see you. Todd of the Davids. 3 dimensions in the same space. 3 dimensions means 3 times in the same space. Now you know where they come from. Vatican likes to hide a lot of things in their underground vaults too. Yeah, of course. Okay. Well, that's, yeah, like paranoid schizophrenics just have a wider aperture of reality. That's why they're targets. They're like huge targets. Here, I'll share it. How do I do this? Oh, come on. Did I not save it from last time? Here we go. Or not. Here we go. Here's the Substack thing. I just gotta find where that is. Okay. Yep. Well, greed is. So it was like Cubidest Radix Malorum or something, or Radix Malorum Cubidest. I don't know. I screwed that up. But I have a short story called Radix Malorum. It means the root of evil, basically, in Latin. So Overland BC is saying the jinn are absolutely real. So Truth Natural Law is saying people can be overwritten. A clergyman might call that position. Rather, it can be, so Mike is saying, rather, it can be argued that synthesized conditions render an individual become more susceptible to believing a specific narrative. In ancient Sumer, exorcist was as common of a job as a mechanic, Dennis Martin is saying. A block universe, Roger, question mark. Micah sounds like an NPC mentality. I wouldn't, come on, be nice, everybody. Oh, that sounds like a, well, anyway, let's be nice. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Overland or BC is saying Catholicism is talking about demons now because CERN and facilities are creating holes between, I think maybe hell and Hades. So heaven, earth, and hell could be three-dimensional, or it could just be different worlds in the same space. Roger Claiborne said, Micah's, I'm just saying if somebody dreamed or is deemed mental but is synthetically induced, then that means it's more malleable than believing a narrative. Okay. Yeah, a bee plague. I can't think of a country more deserving, or a government, I shouldn't say country. The people in the country have, you know, they're not the crazy ones. Yep. They'll probably just exterminate them and then move and then continue mission. Yeah. Yep, Micah, the bees were tired of innocents getting pew-pewed. So they said, nah, you're not getting near it. Yeah. It's probably some, like, it's like straight out of the Old Testament, like biblical plague stuff. Yeah, I bet you it is. Like, stop tormenting innocent people. Okay. So raw nature is about as designed as it gets. Also looking at the frequencies and weather modification, we can only speculate. Yeah. Please thumbs up on the video. Yeah, I guess I'll move that Substack away and just get back to the old banner if I could find it. There we go. Done. Oh no, I've freaking lost my place. Oh no, I didn't, because I kept it up. Good. Well, it's just the fact that the belief that the demiurge is running the world, that's a Gnostic belief. It doesn't mean you're Gnostic, but it's just, it fits in with Gnosticism. So spiritual ascension, for the record, is saying she's no Gnostic by any sense of the word. Yeah. Well, I think Israel is at war with God, basically. Hey, Swade, good to see you, my friend. Okay, so Timepiece Adventure saying the demonic is real and they actively target you and seek your ruin. Temptation, infestation, oppression, obsession, possession. All true. Simply look at the moral and ethical decay around you. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Mike is saying we're sidetracking Sean. It's like, what the hell is going on? All right, Solid Expat. Yeah, those are rookie numbers. You get those numbers up. Roger Claiborne is saying you're gaining popularity and channel is growing. Yeah, it's not me though. It's like it ever since Kerp kind of reached out, like that's been a huge boon. I mean, it's not like going super fast, but it's definitely, things are definitely starting to accelerate. Like I can feel this stuff in the air. So, and if you have a subscription to either Patreon or what am I thinking? I think if you're like a lieutenant and captain, or captain on the YouTube side, a first lieutenant on the Patreon side, there's a video that's available to you where the Lunatic Astrology, head of the podcast did my natal chart, read my natal chart, and basically said that like my creative career would accelerate, would accelerate in May, something like that. And like, man, like she wasn't. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I don't want to call it, but the signs are starting to hit. So again, check out Lunatic Astrology. It's an awesome channel, by the way. It's doing much better than I am, but she's awesome. She's amazing. So her name's Lori Lothian. So check her out. She's like up in Vancouver in Canada, and she's got an awesome channel. But basically, she did my natal chart, and like my life up to that point was accurate. And it was basically like, yeah, you're going to try creative things, but it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. It only starts to work in your kind of later middle age, which is like right now. And it's something to do with Saturn and Neptune. Anyway, I just put it up there. I didn't want to put it for mass audiences. Okay, that was weird. The power went out. So anything connected to an outlet, in fact, it might still be out, but yeah, I think it still is out or not. Well, I have a surge protector. I have one of those fancy surge protectors I bought for things exactly like this. And it's like, I can't tell if there's a countdown or something like that, but the power went off. That was weird. Anyway, where was it? Okay, so I went on a long, unnecessary thread for that. Okay, so Sally is saying the bees could have been displaced because of the booms as much as I'd like a plague death. Yeah, well, it could also be because they killed all these people, right? All these like civilians in Gaza. Yeah, the screen was frozen because my power went out. I bet. Jesus, hold on. Like I have. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. We're getting like way too much noise here. Okay. All right. So Spiritual Ascension said they won't get an exorcist in every diocese because they are demonically possessed, and it is a joke of demons. Oh, maybe. Yeah, in fact, one of the exorcists that was being interviewed said that, yeah, the Catholic Church has been infiltrated by demonic influence in certain places. So anyway. Yeah, something's definitely shifted in the phenomenon. All right, so they won't get an exorcist in every diocese because they are demonically possessed and it is a whole for no. I mean, who knows? Well, I mean, they have enough priests for every diocese, so that just means they just train more priests. Okay. So Angela Cullum is saying 500 years ago, King James and the Catholic Church put out the book on demonology, research, study, and practice of black magic and necromancy. They also probably created the demonic egregores, maybe. So Spiritual Ascension said, no, you mentioned Substack and someone angry at you on Substack. There's some. Oh, no. It's not a person that is. Sorry. In the Substack, I had a friend who has had horrific dreams his entire life, and there's been a specific entity in these dreams. So we tried an experiment to where I tried to visit the dream. I've done it before with other, or when I say I'm going to visit someone and get their permission, weird things happen. We don't have the same dreams, but like weird things would happen in dreams that don't normally happen. So I offered to do that again. And whatever entity that this had been visiting him and haunting him would laugh at him no matter what he did. Well, after we did what we did over a 2-day period, whatever it was trapped in a magic circle and it was pissed. So we've just kind of been monitoring him, and the last, yesterday, it kind of subtly appeared in one of his dreams. So we tried the experiment again last night. And then after we tried the experiment, it was pissed. It was pissed in one of his dreams last night. So we're going to try it again. That's the gist of it. There's more interesting things. Like the person is like a Bram Stoker nominee. Like it was just like the top horror award in that field. And also is like a twice Shirley Jackson Award winner, which is also like one of the top awards in the field. So he writes some dark stuff. Like, I mean, super, super dark. He's one of my favorite authors. But I'm not going to tell you who he is. But a lot of that stuff might have been coming from these experiences and these dreams. Okay. How come we never see demons with antlers? I don't know. Okay, so Mimir Extraordinaire is saying, I'm so happy I'm catching your live. I subbed after seeing you on Kurt's channel. Very interesting live. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope people liked the appearance on Kurt's channel. There was only one negative comment that I could find. It was pretty mean, but I expected more, to be honest. Like, if you're in this game for a while, you get a lot of mean comments from time to time. You don't see them on my comments because on my channel in particular, I believe in like free speech and stuff like that. But like, if you come on and just take a dump on me or are like really rude on the guest and it's not helpful, it's good to get feedback. But if you come on the channel and just, say something just cruel and mean, I just send you to the void. So your comment doesn't disappear for you, but no one else sees it. So, and I do that routinely on this channel because I just don't this is, at the end of the day, this is like, I love doing it, but it's also a business and I just don't need that negativity. But I can't do that on other channels, and obviously I don't. But I was like surprised there was only one negative comment. I get a lot, well, not a lot more, but I get more than that on like any typical episode. Okay, so the same dark cult that is hiding within Judaism has infected the Vatican proper, but the Catholics and local churches still do good. The evil hides within things. Yeah, that's fair salt. Angela Colomb saying 100%. Mother Nature, a.k.a. Gaia, sent the bees. Yeah, maybe. The God of Abraham isn't taking the field for them. That's how they always won before. Yeah. Yeah, because they're not the good guys this time around, right? They can hide behind the chosen people thing, but like the Israeli government is, and by the way, many Israelis don't agree with what the government's doing. But the Israeli government is evil, full stop. Like, it's black and white. They're evil. The government, not the country. Okay. Okay. How's everything going tonight? Well, this stream's going great, but Audiate has been kicking me in the nuts repeatedly all day today. And I'm fucking tired of doing the same episode. I did the same episode twice, edited the same episode twice, and then it's just like, fuck you. It's all gone. Delete for no reason. Anyway, sorry for my language. I'm really frustrated today about that. All right, I'm just going as fast as I can because I literally can't catch up to you guys. Oh, Mike. Okay, so Mike. Yeah, okay. I know who you are, Mike. I'm a first lieutenant at Patreon, but I take offense as I can actually read a map. Well, second lieutenants can't read maps. First lieutenants, by the time they get there, they can read a map. Okay. You can't spell lost without LT, right? But that's second lieutenant. Huh. So Soleil said, I don't think you can get personalized charts anymore from Lunatic Astrology. Yeah, she's probably too big. She just offered it to me because I was interviewing her. Like, it wasn't like a quid pro quo. It was just, hey, I can read your chart. So, all right. So Micah said you were still running, Sean. Okay, crimes against gardening should be crimes in this. All right, anyway. Just going through. That was strange. What was I talking about when the lights went out? Okay, so Overcomers 78 is saying, I've been reading Gospels and Jesus spent a lot of his time dealing with demons. I wonder what's causing havoc now. And that probably the same thing. All right, so Solate US Expat is saying that clairvoyant from Poland that I just learned about stated that he sees that the Antichrist is coming this summer and that the recent moon mission ties into it, but who knows? Okay. Okay, so timepiece adventure saying the bishop of a diocese is the official exorcist in that diocese. He normally assigns a priest to perform an exorcism when required under his authority. The spiritual is legalistic. Yep. Oh, the one it's looks different. It's typically like, but in the one dream, I mean, you can see it. There's a rendering of it. It looks red, like red, kind of demonic skin, glowing eyes, and like a very handsome man. And it also, in my friend's dream, took the form of a Australian shepherd dog, but was within, the first time we did it, it was stuck in a magic circle, and it was pissed. And then my corresponding dream is there were 6 silhouettes skewered on a spear, and there's a voice behind me, and I was kind of like, isn't that a little bit much? Isn't that a little bit over the top? And he was just like, no, that's fine. I'll shut it down from here. Okay. Yeah, I know. I tried to reach out to Paul Thigpen. That's part of the story. I made an introduction to my friend and Paul Thigpen. And then I found out the next day that Paul Thigpen had died 7 weeks earlier. That's in the story. Yeah, he might have an open door. I don't know if he can. Okay. Okay, also disclaimer, those with the hedge of protection are made to fight these fuckers. Okay. Yeah, actually, without knowing who this guy is, if you all can pray for him, just say a brief prayer in whatever tradition you have to pray for his protection and pray for the banishment of whatever's trying to reemerge into his dream. Right? It's not doing over the top things, but yeah, I think any kind of collective willpower that you can supply to help my friend, please do. Please do that. What's Lucifer? Yeah, you have my permission to make it stop. If he wants the visitor to go away, he must close the door. I can share that with him. I actually talk to him tomorrow. All right. Wow. Good God, I caught up. So thank you for giving me content to talk about, because I didn't have a lot for tonight. And I figured I've been talking about this war stuff like nonstop for a few weeks. So I had to just do something a little bit different. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Micah, but thank you for your prayers for my friend. I really appreciate that. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll know what happens by tomorrow because I'm talking to him. All right. Well, we're still gonna try something tonight. So we'll see. All right, what else do we want to talk about in the remaining 25 minutes? I'm getting a lot of traffic on this one. I don't know why. I thought this was going to be a kind of a down night, but it is really not. Really not at all. I mean, people, if you're joining for the Vatican stuff, I covered it in like 15 minutes, around like the 7:45 mark. Huh. Yeah, I'll do my thing. Okay. Yeah, I can see spiritual people being the happiest. Yeah. Anyway, a spiritual ascension. I don't even know if I'm doing this stuff. I like pray and ask angels to do it. So I really don't know what's going on. It could just be that whenever we talk about this, our subconsciouses are synced, and that's it. And there's nothing spiritual about it. So I'm willing to contend that, or willing to admit that's a possibility. Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, religion was around long before the Vatican. All right. Oof. It's gonna be a long night tonight because I'm gonna have to re-edit the episode I edited 2 times already. So it's gonna be fun. What else do folks have to say? We should do a poll. Let's see. I got one. Okay, here we go. And I have to hide it really quickly, but will there be a wartime mobilization by July 2026 in the United States? 1 is yes, 2 is no. Just type it in. 1 is yes, 2 is no. So let me hide it so that people don't bias the answers, or the answers are biased. I can't say. It's not my I've described him, but I'm not going to say his name unless I have permission to say. Because that's the thing with the channel that I have, people will report experiences that they don't want the world to know because they think it makes them sound crazy. Yeah, thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. All right, now we're getting the votes. Yeah, exactly. God will know who needs it. Okay. Let's see how this sucker's doing. It's not Nathaniel. It's definitely not Nathaniel. And you guys aren't going to guess the name. But it's not Nathaniel. I think I can safely give hints like that. But Yeah. Well, if they can end the Iran thing, but I don't think they're going to easily be able to end the Iran thing because we got the Strait open and then today it was closed again. The alien event? What alien event? I know Trump said that they were going to, like, recently. Yeah. The guy's had an interesting life, that's for sure, but he's been haunted by whatever this is for a very long time. Mostly in dreams, but it has extended to the physical. Like involuntary levitation. I mean, it only happened once. He's seen like a shadow entity that looked kind of like the silhouette of a gargoyle, 2 feet tall, reading his like a horror manuscript. Just weird stuff like that. But mostly just these dark dreams. Oh, interesting. I will. I don't think he invited these things in. I think he may have had trauma as a child. Um, based on like a like malady he had as a child. Well, yeah, he makes a living based on writing some dark stuff. And he also was not like baptized or anything like that. No, it didn't have any wings. No. Yeah, it could be the meds. It probably is the meds. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of like weird stuff that he's had. Let's see. Yeah, but that's what he does. Like he's a horror writer. like, he'll starve. Literally, like he won't be able to like. That's how he makes a living. So yeah, well, I mean, but it's not like he made an agreement or anything like that. Okay, so Mike is saying I've had an idea for an animation or book. To be honest. So, yeah, I actually there's a project I'm working on. I've been asked to work on based on one of my short stories. It's the Radix Malorum short story. They're going to make like a comic book based on it. So I have to write the script, and then I have a artist who's tied to it. But that won't be around until like 2028 or something. Oh yeah. Yeah, he once saw a medium, and he said that there was some like void like thing attached to him, and they got rid of it temporarily. Well, yeah, I'm not aware of any such agreement. He very much wants it to stop. In fact, let me see what the dream says. I'm not going to read it out loud because probably not my. Yeah, It's kind of like that. Something that Lovecraft was channeling otherworldly things through his writings might have been the reason he's. This guy's in poor health too. Without saying too much, he's in poor health too. And the stuff that he writes is darker than Lovecraft, but it's on that axis, let's say. Well, he does. He also writes like crime and stuff like that. So that's a fair point. It doesn't all have to be demonic. Hey, Tack Track, good to see you. I appreciate that. Tack Track says, "Hey, Sean, happy Saturday night, sending good vibes and enjoying the broadcast." I appreciate you, because this one I am winging more than any other that I think I've done. Like well, not. Okay. Hopefully it clears. Let me see what he wrote recently, and then I can just summarize it without reading all of it. I mean, this is crazy stuff. It's like horror stuff. I'm not going to read it because he could literally use this in a short story. Oh, wow. I didn't see that. All right, I'm just going to read this. It's pretty creepy stuff. But all right, so he just writes, walking through an airport concourse, this is a dream, with a loaf of sourdough bread. The bread is just raw dough in the middle. It begins to increase mass, like the blob. Pretty soon I'm trying to lug 50 pounds of raw dough. Near the ticket counter are some janitorial supplies. I look for a heavy-duty trash bag. The only one left is lying on the floor with something in it. As I attempt to empty the bag, I discover a body inside, a guy dressed in light ski gear, asleep or dead. He's movie star handsome, although his skin is an odd tone of copper. His eyes open, and they are amber/yellow. He begins to squirm, saying, quote, "You've disturbed my rest," end quote. His voice is muffled, as if coming from afar. The hatred and rage radiate like a furnace. I put him in a rear headlock and ask if there is some way to settle this peacefully. He laughs and struggles harder. I am uncertain of maintaining my grip. This is the important part. Then a clerk runs from behind the counter and pins the entity's legs. The clerk is somehow silhouetted by light, features indiscernible. The entity howls in rage. I tighten the choke and prepare to snap its neck and awaken. Oh, so he wrote, no doubt whatsoever, this is the same being I confronted in the circle last week. So, and dollars to donuts, at least in his dream and in his subconscious, I was the clerk. Let's see. Or some angel invoked by prayer or whatever it was. Huh. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I need to brief today after that, all that other stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but whenever we coordinate like this, it screams, like it howls in pain, and does not like it. All right. Yeah, I really didn't have time to read all that. My goodness. But whatever that was, it was the same thing that was in the magic circle last week in the dream. So I don't know whether this is real or our subconsciouses are feeding on each other and it's just purely explained by medical science. I don't know, but this stuff is strange. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I'll talk. I talk to him tomorrow, so we'll find out more. Yeah, but the dark wolf feeds him literally, in terms of like his well-being. But how do you know it's Lucifer? Okay, there are people out there that can help him get rid of whatever it is. It's beyond the psychological realm. It's definitely beyond the like I've known him for years. He's steady psychologically. It would definitely have a negative effect on at least his horror writing. Yeah, I mean, I think he wants it. Like he definitely wants it to go away. Yeah, who knows, Micah? I already reached out to Mark. Mark sent over a. I don't even think Mark read the like. I sent him a link to the Substack, and Mark sent me Mark sent me a ritual. Like, it's a lot of prayer. It's like salt, like having water and salt, and it's very, very specific. So I just sent my friend the ritual. So, but it's very like you're praying to God and this and that, but it's definitely like it's like a hermetic sort of ritual. Probably. Have you all heard of Hudson Valley? I'll just leave it at that. That's where all these UFO sightings are and stuff like that. Like it's a place of like heavy paranormal activity, particularly like UFOs, UAPs, stuff like that. Yeah, but he never talks about UFO stuff. Like, okay, I'll tell him tomorrow. Surround each corner of his bed, quartz crystal. That's what works. Yeah. I just know every time we coordinate, whatever this thing is, like hails, like gets howls. Well, Dennis Martin, to be fair, like every mass in the Catholic Church is a ritual, right? So, yeah, but I'm just going to bed with the intent. I say a prayer. I ask God to protect me, and then I ask like specifically for Saint Michael and Gabriel to to help my friend. So, and then I kind of try to go to the dream. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair point. Spiritual ascension. Fair point. But anyway, like I really don't know what's going on. I'm completely ignorant, which is why I pray, because I'm just protecting my bases, basically. But whenever I say, okay, let's try it again tonight, that thing like gets like super pissed off, and it's never been pissed off in his dreams. It always laughs and sneers at him. Anyway, again, this is just dreams. It could be nothing. It could be, you know. Huh. The Hammond-Nassau line passes through Woodstock, and I don't know. I always ask for permission of the person that I, they have to grant me permission, or I won't do it because I don't know what I'm doing. And then I always say a prayer. The first 2 times I tried it, the 2 people had horrific nightmares. And so from then on, I would say a prayer and, ask God to like help me help them, but also to, not to frighten them. So take that what you will. Maybe it's just their subconscious is working on, or maybe who knows. Okay, you mentioned it's come into his reality, though. Yeah, it has. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's exactly how I do it. That's exactly if I do it. I don't even know if I'm doing it. I just know when I go to sleep with that intent deliberately, we see results in his dream. Just results, not the same dream, we just see results. So I don't know if there's a direct interaction, if it's just his subconscious operating on it, or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so Micah says, I ask very specifically to protect my body, soul, spirit, mind, thoughts, dreamed, and loved ones, as well as to provide us with what we need. Yeah, correct. Well, with God, I ask because that, God is a superior being or source, whatever, than my monkey ass. Well, it's going to take a very long time to get me past my Catholic programming. Yeah, again, people, it could simply be that's 2 guys talking, and I just trigger his subconscious by talking to him to do this stuff, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is what's really happened. Like, somebody who's a skeptic is going to say that, and that's a fair argument, because I can't prove. We could just report what the effect is. Has Michael ever told me anything about God or Jesus? No. It's more like the Greek gods are sort of like are real, basically, and we were created by something like that. But or maybe a little bit about I don't know. No. So the answer is no, not that I know of. Yeah, I can also invoke that. Every friendship has its own egregore. Huh. Why fire? Is there like earth, water, and other things, or is it? Yeah. Yeah, I know. They said that Greek gods are real by Michael when I was a subscriber. Yeah, I think he said something to that effect. It's your highest self letting you get beat up. Yeah. But I don't get beat up in these things. Like, whatever this entity is gets beat up when I intend to visit, pray, intend to visit my friend. but I don't know what's beating it up. It could be me. It could be my higher self. It could be angels. It could be God. I don't know. Oh, I could so eat a Pop-Tart, but I can only eat meat now. Yeah. Yeah, what kind of Pop-Tart? Oops. Oh, yeah, of course. That's exactly what I do. I ask for help. I don't invoke. I just ask for help. Let's see. All right, so at USX by saying, Sean, can you ask your blue team member the data regarding? Yeah, I can ask. I actually talked to Ed Reardon tomorrow morning. I can ask him tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'm jealous of Pop-Tarts too, but if I ate a Pop-Tart, I would gain like 7 pounds. Anyway, I think it's time's up. I have to re-edit the audio for an episode that I already edited 2 times. So just want to get there. So good night. God bless, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
She's dancing in the field, and the sun is in her eyes. Thousands are one in her eyes. So she stumbles through the field. She can't see, though she tries. Should've worn her pennant. Now she stumbles. Now she cries. Her skin's red